Yo, what's up everyone? My name is Andrew Warren, and in today's video, I'm going to be discussing the fact that I've recently just bought more Tesla stock. So as always with these videos, if you do appreciate the transparency and me just simply updating you all when I do purchase stocks or just even fractional shares like with today, I didn't have the full amount to purchase a full share of Tesla, so I only purchased like zero point 0.4 shares of Tesla today, but that was still around $600, so it's a pretty solid amount. And the growth rate still applies to whatever amount you have invested, so it doesn't really make a difference other than the fact that it's just not a whole number. But if you do appreciate this content around Tesla stock, then please make sure to smash that like button, drop a like on the video. It definitely helps me out, and I really do appreciate it. Plus, it helps with the YouTube algorithm as well, so it can help find more Tesla investors on YouTube that can join this community, so it's definitely appreciated. But anyways, as you all can see, not the greatest day today for Tesla stock. If we go ahead and click on Tesla and Robinhood, as you can see, with the normal market hours, we faced a minus 4.54% drop, which is around minus $74.64 for the share price. And then we recovered a little bit of that in the after hours at plus 1.06% or plus $16.64 per share. So what that tells me with the after hours is that a lot of people have taken advantage of this drop today, just like I did as well. I honestly did not plan on buying Tesla stock today whatsoever. The main reason behind that is just the fact that I don't have the money right now, but I did have just a tiny bit on the sidelines that I decided to use, considering there was like a minus 4.5% drop in the normal market hours. And I saw it nearing that $1,500 share price marker once again. So I thought, okay, here's an opportunity to invest a little bit at this share price right now before it potentially moves up sometime in the near future, such as within the next month or so. And especially maybe tomorrow. I'm not sure just yet what will happen. As we've seen, it's been such a weird week with Tesla. We had an amazing day yesterday. And if we look at the rest of the week, it's just pretty much pure volatility with a flat line across if we look at the general trend. But yeah, a great day yesterday, and then today was pretty weird with a minus 5% drop. And then tomorrow, I really don't know what to expect because as we know with earnings reports, even before it's announced, a lot of people like to sell off early. But as we know, it's supposed to be announced in the after hours. And honestly, we don't know at this point whether they are going to announce profitability or non-profitability. I honestly think the odds are against them in terms of just analyst expectations. I believe the analyst expectations are expecting a significant loss. So if we go down to this chart, the expectations for earnings per share is actually supposed to be worse compared to Q1 of 2020. And so considering the whole Rona situation, if we look at this full chart right here, the expectations for Q2 is supposed to be the worst that we've seen since Q4 of 2018. And that's as far back as it goes for this chart right here. So analyst expectations are not looking very positive, but I do think that it could be likely that Tesla does announce profitability. They've been pushing their factory workers significantly over the past quarter, and it seems like with that email that Elon sent out that he was pretty satisfied with what they've accomplished in this quarter. And also you can kind of get an idea of how Elon is feeling about things when you check out his Twitter account. Elon is always the type of guy that is a little bit unpredictable, and you can really tell when he's stressing out. But recently on Twitter, it seems like he has a lot of confidence, especially with them releasing the Tesla shorts. I mean, honestly, why would you release those shorts if you expected to not make profit in Q2 of 2020 because you know the shorts would be roasting him and the rest of Tesla? So honestly, at this point, if you just look at what Elon Musk is doing and how he's reacting to their progress in Q2, then it seems like the outlook is generally positive, even though analyst expectations are very negative. So I honestly think that Tesla will be profitable this quarter. Yes, I may be proven wrong, but I do think it's possible. Elon Musk is one of the few people in the world you really don't want to bet against because he will definitely prove you wrong. So I think there's a great possibility that they will be profitable. There's still a lot of uncertainty as to whether that could happen, and I definitely wouldn't be surprised if they do announce profitability, but I also wouldn't be too upset or surprised if they announced not being profitable because, I mean, really, what can you expect out of this whole Rona situation? Pretty much every business has suffered unless you're like a cloud business or an e-commerce site like Amazon. So Tesla is definitely one of those businesses that has suffered a little bit, even though they have like direct dealer to owner sales with purchasing Teslas online. So they definitely have an advantage in that sense. But I just wanted to share this video with you all, telling you my logic on why I purchased this share today. So I saw this red day as an opportunity for Tesla stock because I think it's going to be a multi-$1,000 stock in the future. I even think by 2030 there is the potential for Tesla to be around $10,000 per share. Now that's a super bullish thesis and prediction, but I definitely think it's possible considering what they've accomplished so far and how they have kept their word on many things. So just to go ahead and show you all the receipts for today, just on my recent purchases. I'll actually address this as well because I never really made a separate video on this, but on July 13th, I just used the rest of my cash balance in Robinhood since I was really doing nothing with it except leaving it in there, and decided to buy Tesla stock at a price of $16.5113, and I only invested like a fractional share of $46.59 into that. And then today as well, 4 hours ago at 4:05 p.m., I spent $600 for a fractional share of Tesla at the share price of $15.7397. So I am expecting in the future for this stock price to grow. I mean, of course, with all of my videos, you guys know that already. But if you're a new viewer here, just a few factors to address why I'm so bullish on Tesla. For one thing, they have the best battery capacity in the market for electric vehicles. And in terms of competition, there's really no other company out there that is near Tesla. Yes, there are a few others that are making some money like NIO and XPeng and a few others like that, but we really don't see this competition that people have been talking about for the past few years. We've constantly heard the competition is coming, the competition is coming, the competition is coming, yet years later in mid-2020, and I still see no significant competition for Tesla, unless we're talking about like a Chinese company like XPeng that has pretty much cloned everything that Tesla has done up until like the very minute details of Tesla's manufacturing. So really, I think the biggest threat to Tesla is just companies that are direct clones that are in China that don't really have like these patent laws to worry about. So honestly, I think copycatting is the biggest threat to Tesla, at least at this point. I know that General Motors announced some vehicles for 2023, yet if you look at the mileage on some of those, I believe it was like 250 miles per charge. We already have Tesla models over 300 miles per charge, and then we also have the upcoming Cybertruck in 2021, the triple motor, that is supposed to be 500 or maybe even over once they finally get more details on it and start manufacturing these, that are at least going to be 500 miles per charge. And if you don't know already, Tesla is operating on declining cost curves, and especially with their battery, they're known for at least getting 5% improvements on their battery every single year. So they're constantly operating on declining cost curves for the batteries, and they're improving the batteries as well. So you get the best of both worlds. It becomes cheaper, yet it becomes more efficient with higher capacity. So as they keep doing more and more research and development on these batteries, then that just helps them become more profitable in the future. And there's really very little competition out there that can compete with Tesla's battery capacity and their technology. And they also own one of the biggest battery factories in the world in Nevada. So that's a huge factor of the bullish thesis for Tesla. For one thing, you have the fact that they are on the forefront of battery production in terms of operating on declining cost curves and also improving efficiency every single year for the batteries. So as time goes on and on and on, the more these models are updated, the higher capacity they get in terms of battery capacity. And then another huge thing with Tesla is the fact that they are at the forefront of the full self-driving technology. Now this is a little bit more controversial considering the fact that some people think that other companies are ahead of Tesla right now. I know that there was like a false article talking about how BMW was farther ahead than Tesla in terms of the full self-driving technology, which I think is kind of a joke. That was a completely false article that was released on Reddit, and even the moderators had to pin a comment at the top of it saying it was false, and then they eventually finally removed it. But in my opinion, Tesla is currently at the forefront of the full self-driving technology. Yes, there are a few things going on right now, such as like with Amazon purchasing Zoox, then you have Waymo as well, and a few other companies also like XPeng and NIO. But the problem right now is that a lot of these full self-driving car companies are either using LiDAR technology, which is something that Elon Musk has called a lost cause, and he stated that eventually people will learn and transition to just using cameras like with what Tesla does, or other companies are simply just having to pay to install many cameras on each vehicle, which is extremely costly in my opinion if you compare that to what Tesla is doing with the full self-driving technology right now, where they basically gather the data for free. They're pretty much paid to gather the data, where Tesla customers purchase a vehicle and that data is automatically gathered to train the neural net for that full self-driving technology, whereas you have some companies out here that are having to pay people to drive the vehicle around, they're having to pay for the video cameras to put onto the vehicle, and there's all of these other costs that Tesla doesn't have to deal with when they have their customers drive the vehicles for them, and also use the autopilot tech as well. So that's a great thing about the Tesla fleet right now, because it's pretty much gathering all of the data for them, and they're pretty much being paid for getting that data, which is really awesome and definitely cost effective. And Tesla has such a huge real world data lead right now for that full self-driving technology. And some people may argue that, oh, this company may have thousands or millions of miles of data on simulated full self-driving, but what people just don't realize is that a simulation is not the same as the real world. It's really hard to simulate these strange events that occur in real world that pretty much emphasize the fact that we aren't in a simulation, because these weird things wouldn't occur. It's pretty much those events that make you think, oh my gosh, I can't believe that just happened. Such as, like, let's say an elephant walking out into the road, or cattle going across the road, or all of these really strange events where you can't even really make them up off the spot in your head. It just has to happen for you to see it, for that full self-driving technology to learn from. So that's something that really doesn't happen with these simulated miles with some of these other full self-driving car companies. And then you also have these things like geofencing that FSD companies are using, and it just doesn't apply to the real world with what Tesla is doing right now, with just having their actual drivers drive in the real world, gather legitimate data for them and non-simulated data that really just gives that neural net raw and legit data that can be used to improve it in the future for this FSD technology. But FSD is a huge factor for the bullish thesis for Tesla. It's really factored into a lot of the value that we see in the stock currently, because there's really not much competition with this FSD technology right now, at least. And as I've mentioned before, there's just not a lot of competition with Tesla right now. And until we see that competition, Tesla stock is going to keep growing, in my opinion, because when you have a sector that is completely dominated by one company, it's almost like a no-brainer, at least in my opinion, to want to invest in that company, because it's a little bit similar to what Apple did for a long time with smartphones until it finally started getting a little bit more competition with that. And Apple right now doesn't dominate the smartphone market cap like it used to, but it still takes up a significant amount of that. So even if Tesla can just do that and get maybe like 25% of the EV market or 50% of the EV market, which would be absolutely insane, it's really untelling how much of the market they will take up in the future once people transition completely to EV cars, instead of it just being like half and half, or maybe a quarter and 75%, or what it's at currently. Eventually, once that transition occurs where ICE vehicles are viewed as a thing of the past and everyone has EV cars, as long as Tesla is able to take up a significant amount of that and have really good sales, then the stock is going to keep growing, in my opinion, because there's so many other factors to Tesla other than just them being automakers. For one thing, they produce solar panels. They're also involved in battery solutions, in which batteries can be used for the local grid for cities. And I also wouldn't be surprised to see them expanding on to other things in the future. And keep in mind, we have the Cybertruck coming up, the Tesla Semi, the Tesla Roadster, and there's the potential of even like a Tesla HVAC system and many other products in the future. But anyways, I just wanted to share my logic for purchasing this stock. I think Tesla is one of the best stocks in the stock market in terms of the potential for the future. And it's also just a really entertaining stock to keep up with. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to smash that like button. And also feel free to sign up to Robinhood and Webull with my referral link in the description below. If you sign up with those links, then you'll get some free stocks. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week.